Welcome to an English language lesson. This is the lesson for Form 5 and we are using the textbook Download B1 Plus and the theme is People and Culture. The unit is Unit 2 and the topic Life's Great Mysteries. Before we begin, let's look at the learning standards. Here there are main skills and also complementary skills. So we have main skills, listening 1.1.3, recognize independently attitudes or opinions in extended text on a wide range of familiar topics and some unfamiliar topics. Speaking 2.1.2, ask about and explain advantages and disadvantages of ideas, plans, arrangements. Here writing 4.2.3, produce a plan or draft and modify this appropriately independently. Let's look at complementary skills. Speaking 2.1.4, explain and justify the point of view of classmates or others. And reading 3.1.6, recognize with little or no support typical features at word, sentence, and text levels of a wide range of genres. Now for the introduction, let's look at the activity. Describe your feelings after you have watched this video. Describe your feelings after you have watched this video. Now let's look at feelings related to the word mysteries. So we have 4 feelings here: scared, curious, mystified, and excited. So do you know of other words of similar meanings? Let's look at excited. So we have thrilled, delighted, enthusiastic. Next we have scared. You can say, you can use the word petrified, terrified, or fearful. For curious, you have inquisitive, puzzled, or intrigued. And mystified, you have perplexed, puzzled, or baffled. Read about these mysterious places and match the photos to the description. So we have number 1, 2, and 3, and you have pictures A, B, and C. So let's look at number 1, Area 51. This place is a military base in the USA. Some people believe it is the top secret site where the bodies of aliens and some of their technology were taken after a UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. Okay, number 2, Teotihuacan. Located near Mexico City, Teotihuacan was an important city. People lived there for more than 700 years, but then they left suddenly. We don't know who built it and what they call it. Later, it became important to the Aztec, who gave it its name, which according to legend means the place where the gods were created. And then for number 3, the Bermuda Triangle. This is a mysterious area of the sea off the coast of Florida, where thousands of ships and planes have vanished over the centuries. Are the disappearances due to natural disasters, strange magnetic forces, or aliens? So, picture A is for the answer is Area 51 is B, Teotihuacan is C, and the Bermuda Triangle is picture A. So A is the Bermuda Triangle, B is Area 51, and number 3 is Teotihuacan. Now watch this short video about the Bermuda Triangle. Which 3 places does the triangle connect?
FT28, this is Fort Lauderdale.
Do you read me?
FT28 to Fort Lauderdale, do you have a fix yet?
The myth of the Bermuda Triangle began on the 5th of December 1945, when a group of 5 aircraft mysteriously disappeared.
Everything is wrong. Even the ocean looks different.
Flight 19 was a routine training mission of 5 Avenger torpedo bombers. The 3-seater Avenger was the US Navy's top ship and submarine killer. It could carry up to 2,000 pounds of ordnance and had a range of 1,000 miles. The Avenger was robust and reliable. The doomed Flight 19 left Fort Lauderdale at 2:10 on a clear winter's afternoon. 4 hours after they took off, they vanished into thin air. Fearing the worst, a naval air search rescue plane took off into the darkening skies. 20 minutes later, at 7:47 p.m., the rescue plane also disappeared. After a massive search, no wreckage was found. And nothing was ever heard from them again. Until now. Over the last 60 years, this mystery has sustained the wildest theories about what strange forces could be at work out here. Legend has it that the triangle covers the seas between Miami, the island of Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, an area of 1.5 million square miles. Since 1492, when Columbus first sailed into the area and saw strange lights in the sky, the list of unexplainable disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle has grown. Thousands of ships and planes have simply vanished. No warning, no distress calls, no wreckage. Richard Weiner has written many best-selling books about these strange disappearances.
We don't know our own planet. We know more about the moon. We're probably learning more about Mars than we know of our own planet. We know about the Earth, but we don't know about the sea.
The boatyards of Key West hum with stories about those who were lost in the triangle. Stories of giant sea monsters, cosmic time warps, spinning compasses, and holes in the ocean that swallowed ships have echoed throughout the world. Yet the disappearances continue.
I would say there's some kind of a anomaly going on down there that we can't explain. Something that goes on down far, far below the deepest rays, the last rays of sunlight. Way down, there's something going on down there.
Let's look at the answer for the question, which 3 places does the triangle connect? So the answer will be the island of Bermuda. Then you have Miami in Florida and also Puerto Rico or San Juan. Let's move on to the second lesson, which is reading. For reading, you can discuss this with your friends in class. Do you believe in these creatures? Tick the ones you believe in. So ghosts, then you have aliens, you have vampires, you have witches, you have unicorns, werewolves, fairies, and mermaids. Number 2, do you think some of these creatures in one are more likely to exist than others? Which ones? And number 3, you are going to read the article about a strange house. Which of the ideas in one are mentioned in the text?
Unit 2. Reading.
A House of Mystery. In 1884, heartbroken Sarah Winchester left her home in Connecticut on the east coast of the USA, as well as the graves of her husband and only child, and travelled across the country to California, where a strange obsession awaited her. Did she know that it would last for the rest of her life? When her husband passed away, Sarah inherited the Winchester Gun and Rifle Company, which had made the Winchester family very wealthy. After the deaths of her child and husband, Sarah fell into a deep depression and decided to consult a medium. According to some sources, the medium explained that her family was being haunted by the ghosts of American soldiers and others killed by Winchester rifles. Supposedly, the deaths of her daughter and husband had been caused by these spirits, and Sarah Winchester might be the next victim. The medium said that to keep the ghosts happy, Sarah had to build a huge house for them. As long as she never stopped building the house, her life would not be in danger. Sarah left Connecticut for California. There, in 1884, she bought a small unfinished farmhouse, and over the next 38 years, she employed builders around the clock to add on room after room and story after story. The building work never stopped, not even for weekends or holidays, and it produced the house known today as the Winchester Mystery House. It originally had 7 floors, but after an earthquake in 1906, it was reduced to 4. Apart from the house's strange architectural features, including a staircase that leads up to the ceiling, doors that open onto walls, and secret passages that run between rooms and behind walls, it was also unusually large. At the time of Sarah Winchester's death, it had 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 staircases, and 13 bathrooms. Sarah Winchester had strange habits too. Apparently, she never slept in the same bedroom 2 nights in a row because she wanted to confuse any evil spirits that were waiting for her. She also used to visit the Blue Room at the center of the house every night to communicate with the good spirits. She would ring a bell at midnight to call them, and again at 2 a.m. when it was time for them to leave. She would wear one of 13 special colored robes and ask them for guidance on her construction plans. A year after Sarah's death, the house was opened to the public. Since then, many people have described strange experiences there. Neighbors claim to hear a bell ring at midnight and at 2 a.m. A caretaker heard the sound of a screw slowly turning, then hitting the floor. He looked everywhere but found nothing. Tour guides have reported seeing a ghostly workman with a dark moustache in the basement of the house. Is the house truly haunted? No one can say with any certainty, but it is a fascinating story, and the Winchester Mystery House is still open for visitors who want to find out for themselves.
After reading the text or the article, let's look at the questions. So read the article again and choose the best answer. There are 4 options, A, B, C or D. So the first question, what does it at the end of the first paragraph refer to? So you have A, traveling, B, California, C, Sarah's life, and D, an obsession. Number 2, according to the medium, why did Sarah's daughter and husband die? A, the ghost of gun violence had killed them. B, they were very depressed about the war. C, so that Sarah could make the ghost happy. D, both had been shot dead by soldiers. Question 3. What did Sarah Winchester find in California? A house. A, a house with 7 floors. B, a house she could continue to build. C, a house full of mysteries. D, a house damaged in an earthquake. Number 4. What are we told about the Blue Room? A, Sarah kept her clothes there. B, bad ghosts were unable to enter the room. C, she went there to get advice. D, Sarah sometimes slept there. Number 5. What happened at the house after Sarah died? A. There were unexplained events. B. Guides had strange visitors on the tours. C. Workmen continued to build on it. D. People were too scared to visit it. So for question number 1, the answer is D. Number 2, A. Number 3, B. Number 4, C. And number 5, A. Now let's look at for task 5. Circle the correct words. An obsession is a strong pain or passion you feel. 2. A medium looks for or makes contact with dead people. 3. The word spirit is another name for a ghost or monster. Number 4. A victim is someone who suffers or causes a bad experience. Number 5. A passage is an entrance or a narrow corridor in a building. Number 6. An incident is an event or a project. So let's look at the answers. So for number 1, it is passion. Number 2, makes contact with. Number 3, goes. Number 4, suffers. Number 5, a narrow corridor. And the last one, an event. Okay, for question 6, read about the incident below and choose the ending that you think was most likely. How do you think you would react in the same situation? Write a dialogue between you and the ghost of a famous person. So legend has it that while spending a night at the White House in 1942, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands was woken up by a knock on the bedroom door around midnight. Answering it, she saw the ghost of former US President Abraham Lincoln staring at her from the hallway. How do you think Queen Wilhelmina reacted? So, A. She wanted to have a conversation with him. B. She thought it was a practical joke and laughed. And C. She was so terrified by the sight that she fainted. So, you can choose your own answer. So, how do you think you will react in the situation? And then maybe you can write a dialogue between you and the ghost of a famous person. Here it will be Abraham Lincoln. Dear pupils, for lesson 3, we are going to do vocabulary and grammar. So for the vocabulary, complete the sentences with these words. So you have aliens, archaeologists, evidence, historian, myth, practical joke, spirit and theory. You have 8 sentences here. So number 1, a king was killed in that old castle. Legend has it that his walks the halls at night. So the answer is spirit. Number 2, I won't believe that story unless you can give me some. Answer will be evidence. Number 3, there is a or there is an. So answer will be a theory about why Sarah Winchester built a strange house. Number 4, it wasn't really a ghost you saw. Jerry was playing a or an. Answer will be practical joke. So a practical joke. Number 5, historians study and write about important events from the past. Number 6, does Tim really believe that little green? Answer will be aliens live on Mars. Number 7, my father is a or an. Last year he found some ancient bones in the Egyptian desert. So answer is my father is a or an archaeologist. So an archaeologist. Next, number 8, my favorite Greek is about a man called Icarus who flew too close to the sun. So answer will be myth. For task 2, look at the words in bold in sentences 1 to 6. Then match them with their meanings A to F. So we have the first one, haunted. Second, spooky, bizarre. Number 3, number 4 will be ridiculous. Number 5 will be remarkable. Number 6 will be unusual. A will be silly or stupid. B, frightening. C, different from what is normal or ordinary. D, visited or lived in by a ghost. Number E, wonderful, amazing, and F we have very strange. So let's look at the first sentence. I'm not going in that old house. Everyone knows that it's haunted. So the answer is visited or lived in by a ghost. Number 2, did you hear those sounds in the attic last night? They were very spooky. So answer is spooky, frightening. I can't explain the dog's bizarre behavior. Why is it running around the house? So bizarre is very strange. Number 4, nobody wants to kill you. Don't be ridiculous. So the ridiculous is silly or stupid. Number 5, the pictures painted on the wall of the cave were remarkable. So remarkable is wonderful or amazing. Number 6, the house is unusual. It's got stairs that go up to the ceiling. So unusual is different from what is normal or ordinary. Now we have task 3 for vocabulary. Choose the correct answers. So you have 8 questions here. Number 1, when you solve a mystery, you find an explanation for it or can't understand it. So the answer is A. Okay, number 2, you inherited something. So when someone is still living or after someone has died. So answer will be after someone has died. Number 3, when you prove something, you show that it is true. You show that it is successful. So the answer is you show that it is true. Number 4, if you investigate a crime, you get into trouble with the police, or B, try to find out who did it. So answer will be B, try to find out who did it. Number 5, if you observe something, you forget to do it, or you see and notice it. So answer will be you see and notice it. Number 6, if you discover something, you are the first person to find it or the first person to make it. So A, the first person to find it. Number 7, if something confuses you, you want to have it or don't understand it. So you don't understand it. Number 8, when something disappears, you can't see it, can hear it. So the answer will be you can't see it. Now, dear pupils, we are going to do grammar. So here, we are going to learn past simple and past continuous. Okay, read the uses of past simple and the past continuous. So for past simple, something that started and finished at the stated time in the past. For example, they investigated that crime 2 years ago. So 2 years ago indicates the past. Number 2, past routines and habits. The archaeologists often visited Egypt. So often visited Egypt. So often is a past routine or habit. Number 3, situations or states which were true in the past but are no longer true. Tom believed in ghosts when he was a child, but now he is an adult. So now he doesn't believe in ghosts. Action that happened one after the other in the past. For example, when telling a story, Dean opened the door of the haunted house, went inside, and walked slowly up the stairs. Okay, so these are actions that happened one after the other. And lastly, past actions which won't happen again. Homer wrote many stories about the ancient Greeks. Now let's look at past continuous. Actions that were in the progress at a stated time in the past. So it was an action must be in progress in the past. Example, the historian was reading a book at 5 o'clock last night. So in the past is last night and it happened at 5 o'clock. 2 or more actions that were in progress at the same time in the past. I was watching a spooky program while my brother was doing the laundry. So these 2 actions happened together, was watching and was doing. Number 3, giving background information in the story. The sun was shining and John was walking in the forest. And the last one, an action that was in progress in the past that was interrupted by another. We were talking about our theory when we observed something remarkable. Note, remember that we do not usually use stative words in continuous tenses. Read the sentences and identify the main verbs in each. Which tense is used? Which sentence is incorrect? Why? Number 1, A. Tom was wanting to find proof to solve the mystery. B. Tom was looking for proof to solve the mystery. So which tense is used? For the first one, was wanting to find the proof. So is this correct? Or Tom was looking for proof? So the answer is B. Tom was looking for proof to solve the mystery. Now let's look at the grammar exercise. So for task 3, circle the correct words to complete the sentences. So you have to circle the correct words. Peter wasn't watching or didn't watch a scary program at 7 o'clock yesterday. So answer will be Peter wasn't watching a scary program at 7 o'clock yesterday. Number 2, Alfred Hitchcock was directing or directed many remarkable films. So the answer will be directed. Every year, Pat bought or was bringing me a mysterious box and we were opening or open it. So the answer will be brought and also opened. Number 4, Lara read or was reading a book of myth by Taylor surfed or was surfing the net. So number 4 will be Lara was reading, okay, and while Tyler was surfing. For number 5, did they solve or were they solving the mystery in 1990? So the answer is did they solve. Number 6, Tom knew or was knowing about the bizarre event. Answer is knew. Number 7, the spirit was coming or came out of the castle, was walking down to the lake and disappeared or was disappearing. So all these are in the past, so the answer will be came, and then you have walked and then disappeared. Dear pupils, now we will look at task 4. Complete the text. Use the past tense or the past continuous. So this is a passage or an article on Pandora's box. Dear pupils, now let's look at the answer. The title is Pandora's box. According to the Greek myth, there once lived a man called Hephaestus. One day, while he was working, Zeus told Hephaestus to make him a daughter. He listened to Zeus, made a beautiful woman and named her Pandora. Zeus sent Pandora to marry Epimetheus, who was the brother of Prometheus. Prometheus had given people the gift of fire, and Zeus wanted to get revenge. Zeus gave Pandora a box and ordered her never to open it. However, Pandora was very curious, so one night, while her husband, because of the word while, so you need to write, was sleeping, she opened the box and all kinds of terrible things came out: hate, crime, disease. When Epimetheus woke up, Pandora was crying. She opened the box to show Epimetheus it was empty, and he saw a small insect inside. "My name is Hope," it said. Hope thanked Pandora for opening the box and flew away to help the world. Now we are doing lesson number 4, which is listening. Dear pupils, you are going to hear someone talking about the legend of Robin Hood, a character who lived in England around the year 1300. Listen to the first part of the talk and circle the correct words.
Unit 2. Listening. Exercise 1.
Robin Hood was a legendary character from medieval England. Legend has it that he lived in Sherwood Forest, near Nottingham, with a group of friends, finding food and shelter there and stealing from rich travellers who passed by. Because of this, he and his team of men were known as outlaws, that is, criminals who were wanted by the authorities. The man in charge of the area at the time was the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and the Sheriff were famous enemies. However, although Robin Hood and his men were criminals, they have always been considered the heroes of the people, because the legend says that they used to steal money from the rich and give it to the poor.
Now let's look at the answers. For question 1, according to the legend, Robin Hood lived in Sherwood Forest or Nottingham Forest. Number 2, Robin Hood lived in a forest with his family or friends. Number 3, an outlaw is a criminal who is wanted by or working with the authorities. Number 4, Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham were well known to be friends or enemies. And number 5, the legend says that Robin Hood used to steal from the rich or the poor. So answer number 1 is Sherwood Forest. Number 2, friends. Number 3, wanted by. Number 4, enemies. And number 5, rich. Now you are going to listen to the whole of the speech about the legend of Robin Hood. For question 1 to 8, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase. So there are 8 sentences here.
Exercise 3.
Robin Hood was a legendary character from medieval England. Legend has it that he lived in Sherwood Forest, near Nottingham, with a group of friends, finding food and shelter there and stealing from rich travellers who passed by. Because of this, he and his team of men were known as outlaws, that is, criminals who were wanted by the authorities. The man in charge of the area at the time was the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and the Sheriff were famous enemies. However, although Robin Hood and his men were criminals, they have always been considered the heroes of the people, because the legend says that they used to steal money from the rich and give it to the poor. People have been fascinated by the legend of Robin Hood for over 700 years. However, nobody knows for sure whether Robin Hood was a real person or a myth. And if he was a real person, then who was he? Most of the evidence we have comes from songs and poems that were written from around the year 1400 onwards. In the days before television, radio, and even books, news and stories would be passed down in this way, and a character called Robin Hood was certainly very well known as a famous outlaw at that time. Another source is the official records of the period, one of which says that a man called Robert Hood was working as a servant for King Edward II, who ruled from 1284 to 1327. One problem that historians have, however, is that Robin or Robert and Hood were very common names in medieval times, so it's difficult to prove whether any of these men was the Robin Hood of the legend. Although Sherwood Forest is generally assumed to be where Robin lived, several early poems also indicate that an outlaw of the same name lived in South Yorkshire, which is a little way north of Nottingham. As the two areas are quite close, and Robin may have moved around to escape the authorities, it's quite possible that he lived in both areas. We don't even know exactly when he lived. We have the official record connecting a Robert Hood with King Edward II, but later theories connect him to a different king, King John, who ruled a whole century earlier. Despite the confusion, Robin Hood and the other characters in the legend have remained popular until today, and they attract thousands of tourists to Nottingham and Sherwood Forest every year. Many films and TV series have been made about the outlaw who fought for the common people and against the rich rulers of the time. There is even an organization in modern-day New York City called Robin Hood, which continues Robin's mission by giving financial support to the poor. Although we may never solve the mystery of who Robin Hood really was, his legend lives on.
Dear pupils, now let's look at the answers. The first sentence, the legend says that Robin Hood would steal money from wealthy. Answer is travelers passing through Sherwood Forest. For number 2, although they were really criminals, Robin and his men were actually thought of as heroes because they helped the poor. Number 3, the legend of Robin Hood has interested people for over 700 years. Number 4, before modern communications, people used to pass down news and stories using songs and poems. Number 5, King Edward II was King of England from 1284 to 1377. And number 6, South Yorkshire is an area which is a short distance to the north of Nottingham. Number 7, King John ruled England a whole century or a century before King Edward II. Number 8, Robin Hood is a popular character in films and on television because he helped the common people and was against the wealthy rulers of the period. For task 2, look at questions 1 to 8 in 3 below and answer these questions. Number 1, you have already heard the first part of the talk. Can you remember which words complete the first 2 sentences? If not, can you guess? Number 2, sometimes you can work out what kind of answer will go in the gaps. What sort of answers will go in the gaps in question 3 and 5? And for question 3, question 4 refers to something being passed down. What sort of things can people pass down? Number 4, what possible answers are there for question 6? And then for number 5, have a guess at the answers for the other question and guess and write your guesses in pencil at the end of each question. After you have done task 3, see how close your guesses are. Okay, so for the first one, can you remember which words complete the 2 sentences? So the answers are travelers and heroes. And for number 2, sometimes you can work out what kind of answers will go in the gap. So what could go in the gap question 3 and 5? So the answer is supposed to be a period of time or a number of years or a date or a number of years later after the year 1284. Then for number 3, what sort of things can people pass down? So people can pass down stories, facts, histories, memories, belief. Okay, and people can also pass down many other things. Okay, what possible answers are there for question 6? So north, south, east or west. And for number 7, you can write your own answer. Dear pupils, here are some resources. They are videos, so you can click on the QR code and then you can complete the exercise on a title Murder Mystery Scene 1. So here you can watch the video and then you can even get the transcript and then please complete task 1, 2 and 3. Dear pupils, thank you for watching this video and then do remember to subscribe to my channel. It is called Educator OmniTube. I am Madam Gan. Signing off. Bye bye. See you in the next lesson.